Press Start Podcast.
And welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. This is episode number 83, and I'm your host, Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin'. Of course, I'm joined by my co host, Scobie1.
How's everyone doing tonight?
And of course, I'm joined by my other co host, Lunatic Oblivion.
Hey guys, welcome back. So we heard your feedback and we've reworked our ads, you might notice today. Our ads are no longer auto-played. Every few topics, we're gonna play a 3-minute ad. So twice we're gonna have 2 3-minute ad breaks, as well as special content in between those ad breaks where you can either ask us a question throughout the podcast. If you do actually ask us a question, we'll address it then. Otherwise, we have some content that we're going to talk about in between each section. So, but without further ado here, let's look at the games that we've been playing this week. So, Vic, I see you've been still playing Atomic Hearts.
Yeah.
Still playing it.
Still playing it. It's a much longer game than I anticipated, honestly, and it's getting to the point where it feels like it's dragging. Like I'm over here, like I'm looking up on Google like the mission list so I can see where I'm at in the story, and I'm like kind of towards the end. I probably have like 6 missions I think left maybe. So I'm at the end. But I'm like, this game should have been over a long time ago. It's just real tedious. The combat's like clunky. The story itself, like where I'm trying to go from A to B, I see what's going on. The story is there, but it just didn't really do it for me, man. Like I'm really actually curious to see how my review plays out. This could be one of those 6 out of 10 games potentially.
Really? That is
Or
I feel like
nuts
that's
to me.
I feel like that's almost a complete 180 from when you were first originally playing it.
It just never got
Like,
better. The game looks
I-
phenomenal, and Roger, you know me better than anyone else. Games attract me based off of visual, and this game looks phenomenal. But the game itself is just, eh. It's an okay game. It's not a on
and
my scale. 7 is a good game. 8
yeah,
is a
yeah.
great game. So 6 is an
And
okay game.
And that's what's weird to me, because, like, to me, I had the complete opposite experience. I thought Atomic Hearts was one of the best games I've played recently in terms of just, like, what it had to offer to the genre of that sort of explorer type combat, just, it was such an interesting game. The plot was fascinating to me. Like, I always had fun with the plot. The combat didn't feel clunky at all. Like, it did feel a little obnoxious when you're like, I'm running out of ammo because they just keep reviving all the
Right,
bots.
right.
Like
I got
that
that was
that
so
that
dumb.
to me is the biggest problem. So I just hopped into a vehicle and I just started running people over because it was easier.
Right.
It
And that's
serves
the thing,
ammo.
I haven't
It's
even
really
know
what
that.
it
I
does.
didn't even know you can hop into a vehicle. It never tells you to hop into a
Yeah,
vehicle.
it does. It does actually. At one point, and you probably just ignored, the guy's like, take a vehicle. We'll drive there. And it's like, okay. And I look over and I
know,
was like,
like
"What
in the
car?"
beginning of the game, you hop in that vehicle before like all hell breaks loose, and I'm like, okay,
But you
cool.
don't drive that one.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
So I'm just like, okay, and it's just like I got to the one enemy where he's like immune to bullets, and he's like a fire breathing fucking robot, and I'm like, how the
Oh,
fuck do I
yeah,
take
yeah,
him down? And I eventually had to find out, like, use your shock, and then use your little fucking jet fuel shit that you blow onto him, I guess. Like, and like it
Polymer.
doesn't, yeah, it doesn't,
Polymer.
yeah, polymer. Thank you. And it's like it doesn't really explain anything. It's kind of just like you got to figure this out by yourself. No,
Yeah, and
nothing.
that's what the game told you going into it though. The
Yeah.
game literally says in all of their hint screens, like every loading screen has hints and you just ignore them. Like
My
the
game
hints are like,
loads too fast.
Every loading. That's the opposite of a problem.
Right.
yeah,
No. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because every loading screen it just says 2 words, "get good," and then
yeah.
I literally
Yeah.
fucking it pops
Look-
up and it's like press A to begin. I'm like, fuck. Hey, I'm not sitting here
Yeah.
reading shit.
Yeah, and like the thing is, like I did end up reading it, and it's like sometimes you have to adjust your strategy, think about going at it at different angles, and I'm like, okay. And so I started playing around with it, and I was like, well, I didn't buy every upgrade. I bought 3, and I invested into the 3 I wanted to use because
Yeah.
you can refund all your stuff. So like,
Right.
I thought the game like it took a little bit of thinking to get through some of it, but like my biggest issue was like they wanted you to use different strategies, but when you got into a boss fight, it didn't put you back where you can change your strategy. It had like a an upgrade booth over here. And then you're like, oh, okay. So you walk past it, go into the boss fight. You're like, oh, my build's not good.
Right.
Then you go to restart, and it's like, you're in the boss fight again. You're like, but I need to adjust my build. And they're
Right.
like, no, we don't want you doing
There
that.
was
Who
some
fucking bad?
Yeah, there was some boss fights where like it gave you that machine in the boss fight, but you couldn't go to it because if you're in it, they can just attack you. It wasn't like a
Yeah.
frozen like pause menu while you're like do 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 do. Like nope, it's
Should have
all
read your
live.
load screen, nerds.
Yeah.
Should have read your load screen, nerds.
Yeah, but Roger, I see you started a couple new games here. Tainted Grail. What's this game about?
Yeah, so like as we all do with the Game Pass subscription, you start looking for new games.
Sure
So
do.
Tainted Grail is one of those games that mimics it's kind of like the roguelike card building game, Slay the Spire style game. So you're essentially, you and your village has gone missing because you built a village around this creepy looking statue. You end up in the afterlife, and the whole idea is you're trying to escape this perpetual afterlife of sort of purgatory where you're fighting bad guys, you're switching different roles you play as, but it's a card fighting game like so many other roguelikes, but it just seemed interesting. So I picked it up, started playing it, and I actually think it's quite fascinating for a free game on Game Pass.
Yeah, this I'm looking it up here. Kind of looks like Marvel's Midnight Suns, where it's
Yeah.
like the turn-based combat with the cards, but it's all like action oriented. So it seems pretty cool. And I see
Cool,
that there's
Marshmallow loves Tainted Grail.
and there's
Yeah, you play too? It's pretty good, man.
And-
I'm actually quite excited.
there's a board game. I see that here on Google. So you going to pick that up?
Oh,
Roger?
that's cool.
Yeah.
Nah, probably not. Honestly, trying to find time to play with your friends, play board games, is just
It's
it's so
difficult these
hard
days.
anymore.
Yeah.
Enough
Yeah.
to find time to play with myself with everything I've been doing. So,
Well, man, keep it PG here.
whoa, one player games, single
One
player
player.
games, man. Get your head out of the gutter.
He took it there. Roger, I think you started playing another game today, didn't you? Sunhaven? Is that the other one you started?
Yeah, I played it yesterday with
Okay,
Disney.
that's what it was.
Disney did her first stream ever, and we played Sunhaven. It's just like I would say Harvest Moon meets Rune Factory meets any one of those sort of farming simulator games.
Oh yeah, I
But
see.
it's kind of based off of that whole high fantasy. You've got dragons, monsters, magic, and swords, and all the different ways to fight your opponents. And it's an interesting game. It allows you a lot of flexibility how you want to build your character because there are whole skill trees to go through. It seemed interesting. It just released from early access last week or the week before it, so I was like, oh, Lily, $20 game that just came out of early access. What are the odds? There's never a game on Steam that isn't in early access.
Yeah,
So
that's
like for
point.
something to be like, we're no longer early access, you're like, guess I'll give it a try.
Not me googling Sunhaven.
Yeah.
You had me at Dragons and Magic.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Scott, you want to add this to your list of potential games to play? Maybe add it to
You
your
know
list
what?
here.
The ever-growing
Wait,
list.
Before we move on, Scott, what does your list look like?
So I took what everybody had said last week personally. So I took my list of Modern Warfare and Warzone 2 and Hogwarts Legacy. And because of our discussions last week, what I did is I cut that in half. I only played Warzone this week. It has been a busy week for me, so when I had the time, I was dropping to Sheikah Island. I was trying to level up some guns. But you know what? I couldn't have done it without all of your great commentary. I really appreciate that. It really opened my eyes to some ways that I can play Warzone differently.
By cutting
that
out the
red-
rest.
By
Just
cutting out, I
playing
just
it.
cut out all the fat. Just cut out all the fat. No, I did play a little bit of Hogwarts Legacy, but I just keep going back and I'm just doing random shit. I'm not even doing main questline stuff yet. I'm just like going in
You're
and
just exploring.
just getting all the chests and doing all this, like trying to 100% every little village, flying around the broom. But no, it has been Warzone 2 99.99999% of my week this week. So I know it's a lot to take in. It's super unlike me, very out of character. But yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Well, we did catch two dubs last night playing some Warzone 2.
Dose
Hey, we
dubs.
caught plenty of dubs this week, actually, which is weird. Like we
It
went
is.
from like none
Yeah.
to like more than you can put on a hand.
Yeah, it's been dub week for sure.
Yeah, we're starting to hit a stride. Me and Scott were talking earlier, and I was just like, man, we're just finding our stride, and we're starting to learn the meta of the game, trying to pick up the actual guns that are going to perform over guns that, oh, I want to use the M4. Well, M4 is just not it right now. It's all about the Hemlock or the TAC 56, or in this case, the Sakin is going to be one of the new meta LMGs there. So
That
it's
Tempest
all about-
Torrent.
yeah, the Tempest Torrent. I mean,
That thing-
that's OP.
Max.
Yeah, so it's definitely all about that. We're learning how to rotate and how we're going to push, not push people, making sure we're landing in the better areas and whatnot. We're just learning the map and figuring that stuff out for sure. But Roger, I know you continued your co-op stream today as well with Life is Strange. This is True Colors still, right?
We beat it, yeah.
You beat it.
So we finished True Colors today, and honestly, it was pretty cool. Marshmallow actually requested it for my stream, and after today, my stream request is back up again. But it was a fun game. I honestly had a lot of fun with how it turned out. I think it shows a world of difference where they've come for the Life is Strange franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly felt genuine human emotion for this, and it made me feel sad. Like Disney was tearing up next to me because she was actually sad about the game, and I was like, it's yeah, like it's just weird to have a game that actually genuinely grabs your attention and grabs your emotions and says, you're gonna want to care. You want to care. We're not forcing you. And you're like, I actually feel for these people. And I think they did a really good job. They still have a lot of ways to go to be able to compete with such just rogue elements in this genre, like As Dusk Falls, for example.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those games that recently just captured, I think, so much of the choose your own adventure style gameplay and just took it and said, here's what you can do better. And I think Life is Strange is trying to get there because their choices don't always feel like they matter.
Right.
Like the first game, all your choices felt like they didn't matter because at the end it was like kill everyone or kill one person. You're like, and then you just go back in time and kill one person. You're like, everything you did didn't matter.
So still not as intricate as Fable 3, I see.
Yeah, even Fable 3, like, your decisions mattered.
I'm glad to see they really capitalized on that Goosebumps entire.
Yeah,
entire
it's so weird that, like, of all the games that we've had, we've never truly had, like, it was Japan that really captured the idea of this choose your own adventure book style gameplay with visual novels, and they did it in the 90s.
Right.
Oh yeah.
How is the Western audience who loved these books taking so long to catch up? And it felt weird to me.
Yeah.
We were built on root 'em, toot 'em, shoot 'em society. So what do you think? Well, what else are we gonna do? I think we got Halo.
What's an
Call of
adventure
Duty.
game when you
You
can shoot somebody in Goldmember or Goldeneye?
Exactly.
Another game that has done that kind of like storytelling, choose your own story, back in a few years ago in 2018 was Detroit Become Human, the PlayStation exclusive from Quantic Dream. It's one of the games I picked up. It's on my shelf behind me here that I've never played. It did get a 9 out of 10. So it is a critically received, really good game, but it's one of those like every decision that you do in that game matters, and they've shown like how the story can branch off from each decision that can happen. And those games are really cool to check out because like everyone's experience can be different.
Yeah,
Games like that are good because it weighs, like, you have to sit there and think about your decision. You have to think about what it might do, and I think that part of the storytelling is so excellent because it becomes your story.
Yeah, and I want to kind of agree with what you're saying here and build on it and say, like, the biggest thing is you want it to be your adventure. You want there to be a ton of endings. You want the endings to be very robust with the way they work. But the problem is, like, with this, it's you have like seven branches, and then at the end they all just become one or two, and it's like
I think
what did my decision even matter in the beginning of the game? Yeah. By the end of it, I get the same
Dusk
ending
Falls,
as you.
for example, like you follow through As Dusk Falls, and like there are multiple endings. It feels way better because, Like a decision you make in chapter 1 affects chapter 7. You're like,
Right.
it's just nuts.
I mean, even
how,
look at Mass Effect.
how much
Mass Effect did it really well. Like your decisions,
Mhm.
even in one game to the next game, had
Mhm.
impacts.
mattered.
Like like that character may or may not be in that next game, or it may be an enemy, or they may be a teammate. Like those relationships that you built over 3 games mattered. Like at the end
Yeah.
of Mass Effect 2, spoiler alert. Sorry, the game's been out forever. That last mission, like your whole team could fucking die if you make the
Yeah.
wrong decision. Like you literally get choices. All right, what am I going to do here at this point? I need them to go here or here. Well, if I send them here, they're going to die. If I send them here, I might die or whatever it is. And it's just like, yo, like that shit's crazy. And it tells you at the end, like, all right, so and so survived, so and so died. And you're like, fuck, man.
That's what I love the most about these, and that's why when it comes down to, I'm very ethical when it comes to the choose your own adventure book, right? Because like you were saying, Roger, like, oh yeah, you can make all these decisions, and like it branches out and it comes back, which is kind of nice because you still want to make sure that they get some semblance of the story that they created. But I feel that if it's a choose your own, then it needs to have that open-ended capability for eternity. I mean, they still already have more continuity than the DC universe, just
Yeah,
from
for
one
sure.
game to the next.
Yeah.
Just based off the decision that you're playing, not
Exactly.
in one game, from one game to the next game to the next game, and that could just branch so hard. That's what makes them so good, or it can also make them kind of floppy a little bit.
No, I
Yeah, for
100% agree.
So enough
So,
of what we've been playing this week. Let's dive into what's actually upcoming here this week. Got a couple solid releases coming out here. So Roger, what's going on here?
so Remnant from the Ashes is getting a Switch port on March 21st. First, we also have Tachia, which is a game coming out for the PS5 and the PS4 and the PC, which is interesting to see that we're going to get this game coming, to just the Sony platforms and computer on the same day, which is also March 21st. And this one, I believe, is this the one with the girl that explores the tropical island? It is, yes. So Tachia is the game about tropical open world adventure, climb, glide, swim, and sail. So it's a fun exploration adventure game that we saw at the Game Awards last year that looked pretty interesting.
Yeah.
After that, we've got Have a Nice Death coming out for Switch and PC on March 22nd. And then we've got Atelier, Ryza 3, The Alchemists of the End and the Secret Key, which is one of our classic JRPG style games. This comes out for the PS5, the PS4, and the Switch. This, I believe, is already on PC, but is now coming to the console platforms. Then we've got Storyteller. This is a more simpler game made by Annapurna Interactive. This comes out on the 23rd for Switch and PC only,
I remember
which
that
is
one.
quite interesting that we're going to be seeing only those two consoles getting this game. And then lastly, we are going to round out the week with the game, which is Resident Evil 4 Remake. We're going to be seeing that for all consoles, which is going to be awesome, except for Xbox One, I believe. X and S is getting it, but not One.
You could play
But we'll
via-
have it on the
via
PS5,
cloud.
PS4, and PC. Cloud only.
You could play it on Xbox
Yeah,
One
yeah.
via cloud like
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah. So awesome to see that this week we've got quite a few big games coming out. The one that really surprises me is the fact that, Resident Evil 4 Remake, it was teased. We really didn't get a release date, and they're like, okay, release date next month.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
I mean, it's
okay.
it's already reviewing really well. Like it's getting
Yeah.
10 out of 10s like across the board. Like this game, they said like this game's taking advantage of the next gen hardware, like
Mhm.
like through and through, and it's just like it kind of gives you that old classic feeling, but modernize it to the next level because they did
And
change some things. They added some more content to it as well.
And not only that, but this also got announced for the PlayStation VR 2 as well. So we don't know when it's coming, but it is coming, which is awesome to see. This is the pinnacle of Resident Evil, truly, where hardware finally was able to catch up with the dream, with the vision from Capcom, and I'm excited to see where we go from here.
I will have
Uh,
to say with the VR though, I'm curious to see if they're gonna take away that over the shoulder look. I mean, that was
Mhm.
like that over the shoulder right behind Leon. Like that was one of the things that made the first Resident
That's
Evil
what
4
they did with the
so
last one that
good.
they did.
But with the VR, I mean, I was like, oh man, that'd be super creepy. unless I'm just standing over Leon's shoulder again.
You're just like
That's
looking
first
at
person.
Leon, and you're just
Yeah,
like,
you're just looking at Leon, looking at something else. But if that comes into a first person in the VR, yes,
That's gonna be
that
dope.
and that's what it- yeah.
all of the yes.
And obviously they already have that
Absolutely.
technology because they did it with Biohazard and they just recently did it with Village as well. So it is
Mhm.
possible for
And,
them
and
to
not
do it.
only that, they had the Resident Evil, I think 2 or 3. One of them already had a VR remake. Resident Evil, one of the older games, did get a first-person remake, which was pretty cool.
And then
Yeah.
So,
in regards to these other games though that you were talking about,
Mhm.
Remnant from the Ashes is actually a game I know Marshmallow has already played this, but
Mhm.
this game came out back on 2019 for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. This is just a Switch port, so the Switch is finally getting this awesome game. This was on Game Pass there for a while, but it's not there anymore. And I think there's a Remnant 2 on its way. That's the one that we recently saw announced at either the Game
yes.
Awards or the Summer Games Fest last year. So I'm really excited for that one. But Have a Nice Death is another one of those indie developed games that we saw. It was just like, this game actually looks fun. It gave me that whole Death's Door vibe, honestly. Like it had that
Have a Nice
feeling.
Death is kind of like it's Hollow Knights. It's essentially a successor to the Hollow Knights sort of vision, the kind of play.
Yeah,
And we saw this last year at the
yeah,
at the Games Awards.
yeah. And then I do remember Storyteller. We also saw that at one of the events because I was like, "Oh, Rogers, this is going to be your kind of game because you literally are a storyteller. Like you were building the story from
Yeah.
scratch. Like you were making a D&D campaign, and you're just telling the whole entire story, and then people can play through it as well. So maybe that'll be pretty cool. And Annapurna usually does really well with different
Yeah.
variety of games.
Honestly, the Anacrusis is just that was such a good game in my opinion. That was awesome.
Yeah, we never even got to finish Anacrusis.
Well, it still doesn't have
yeah.
a full release
Yeah, it's
either.
still in
So
game preview, so they only got access to like the first 4 levels or something like that. And we
Yep.
played through like half of them where we're like, okay, we're just gonna wait until this game is full release and we'll hop back into it because the
Yeah, 'cause
gunplay
it was so good.
Yeah, it felt really good. But I do know I'm not obviously not a huge PlayStation fan, but I know Tachia that's been reviewing fairly well, and I know people are really excited for this. And
It looks good.
yeah, and it's coming to their PlayStation Plus catalog, which we're gonna cover on the rest of those games a little bit later on as well. So be on the lookout for that.
So free,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
$3.99.
Free 99.
Yeah. So that's all of our upcoming games here. So we're about to go ahead and take a 3-minute ad break. So be sure to drop a subscribe if you do not want to see these ads, and then you can join into our extra content that we have behind this closed door here. See you guys in a few minutes. All right.
Ads up.
I believe so. I clicked it. So pre-roll ads
Sick.
are disabled for
Sick.
63 minutes. I think it's
Yeah.
rolling.
Okay, so we wanted to kind of talk about Call of Duty meta. So this
Yeah.
is something we kind of had a discussion about recently. How, what is meta for a game? And meta is, interestingly enough, just what works best. Everyone's going to play a certain thing, and at some point, there is no difference in the game. You have 100 guns in Call of Duty,
Yeah.
and people use 3,
Right.
2,
Yeah.
maybe 1,
Yeah,
just
definitely.
because So, what's your thoughts, Vic?
Yeah, so just because I know Call of Duty so well that even from the CDO standpoint, I play a lot of CDO, and they basically ban every single gun to begin with, and now you're left with only playing with the TAC 56 basically for the AR. They just banned the Castall 7.62, the new Hemlock banned already. Like the M4 is gone, the Castall 7.4U gone. Like you're literally limited to like 3 ARs. The other 2 are garbage, so you have to use the TAC 56. And in the submachine guns, there's only one that people use, the Vaznev. Those are the only 2 guns you really see in CDO. But then when it comes to Warzone, Roger, I know you love playing with the M4. We know the M4 is overpowered in multiplayer, but it's just
But
not the
it's
gun in Warzone. It's not the meta.
It isn't. Exactly. And it's one of those things, and it's like, when is the game going to just truly allow people to play what they want to play? And the problem is it's balancing. That's what it always is balancing at the end of the day. How do you have it so everything works for everyone?
Right, and it's definitely a balance.
You end up not being able to do that, but you can still get them close enough to where it will only rely on skill and how you play. Instead of, oh, this gun got a buff and now it has a damage buff at 110 meters,
Yeah.
and you can laser people across the map. Hate that.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy, and then like it just, like all games are like that. Honestly, like I feel like Overwatch is the same way. Like you have to play with a certain lineup. Even Valorant there was like that for a while. Like
Yeah.
if you didn't have Chamber on your lineup, you were going to lose. If you didn't have a Jet, it was a Jet and Chamber lock guaranteed minimum. And then
Double op meta. Yeah.
Yeah,
it
or like Elden Ring when you had the bleed effect.
yeah
That was everybody's build. I hate games coming out and then telling me how I'm supposed to play them.
yeah.
Yeah. And
So
it's all comes down to competitive scene, and at the end of the day, you have to deal with it. If you want to play competitively, you have to play what's best. It's like it's the same thing. Like unless there's a clear way to get an advantage over something else, which these games don't allow. Like I think Overwatch is one of the most recent ones that allow you to really truly get an advantage over somebody. And I think it sucks because like, oh, okay, so somebody's playing Rumble, so you have to play this. Oh, somebody's playing Widow, so you have to play this. It kind of at least it forces the game to move. But with
right,
that, I think our ad break is ending here, and
yeah,
we'll be jumping into gaming news. So welcome back, guys. Gaming news now.
industry
Uh,
industry news.
Industry news. My apologies, a little further down than I meant to be. Industry news. So, Vic, we have Activision Blizzard and Microsoft again. So, what's going on?
Yay! Yeah, this is a quick update. They were on another signing spree. They signed 10-year deals with a company called Boosteroid and Ubitus, I think is what it's called. These are
You,
like Ubitus. These are both like cloud streaming platforms in other countries. I think Ubitus has like 2 million active users, so like that's still a pretty large player base. And I'm not really sure in statistic wise for Boosteroid, but it's just you're bringing these games to more platforms for cloud services. You're not making a monopoly. Like you're you're just being all inclusive and you're being fair and you're just like, hey, we're here to support everybody. We're not trying to take this away from anybody. We're actually trying to make this more readily available to everyone. So that's awesome to see there. But we did get updates in regards to the UK's ruling. They published 9 responses to this deal, 7 of which were from the third parties, and one of them was from Sony, and they were the only ones to disagree with this deal. Of course, obviously we know that. And Sony made a mention that Bethesda announced that Starfield was supposed to release on multi-platform, and then Xbox made it exclusive, which proved that it was false. But this actually never even happened when they announced Starfield. They never announced any platforms yet, so they never said it was going to be coming to PlayStation. So therefore, they had the option to say, "Hey, this is an Xbox exclusive
They
now."
may have had a backroom deal, though. That's the thing. Like, Microsoft is going to tell us what's in their advantage, and Sony is going to tell us what's in their advantage. And
Right.
honestly, I can't take Microsoft's word at it and say, no, we never said that. And they could have. They could have honestly said it, just it's one of those things you can't take the truth from the person who's being accused of something.
Hmm.
You have to look at they're innocent until proven guilty, yes. So until Sony also provides us with proof that that was the deal that they reneged on,
Yeah.
I can also take Sony. So it's six and one, half dozen in the other.
Yeah, well, the idea is like they're talking about like the announcement video. Hey, Starfield's coming out. They never because on those videos they put which platform it's coming for usually, but there was nothing. There was no trademarks, no Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, PC, nothing, no Steam, nothing. It was just an announcement trailer. Starfield's coming out. That's it. And PlayStation was trying to say that that means it's coming to all platforms. Like no, that's not really what that means, but that's how they interpret it as. So it's kind of one of those like how do they
Mm.
view those kind of points. But another part here is the UK regulatory body known as the CMA has thus far has very positive towards Microsoft's $69 million deal. Basically,
I
these are like they understand like the franchises that they're coming here with Warcraft, Call of Duty, Candy Crush. Like those are massive franchises. And then it's just these are. It'll be eager to see on how their final ruling because I think they delayed it until sometime middle to end of May because it was supposed to come here at the end of April, I think it was. So they just pushed it out another month. So we'll see what all is going on there. But what's going on in the Blizzard world here, Scott? I know you used to play a lot of WoW. What's going on here?
Man, so Blizzard had banned 120,000 players from WoW Classic called botters. So what had happened, and the biggest proponent of what had happened was the Death Knight. So when WoW originally came out with Wrath of the Lich King, there was some checks in place to make sure that you couldn't just automatically roll a 55 Death Knight and start playing. You required a level 55 character on the realm that you're playing. things like that. Well, when WoW Classic came out, Blizzard had gotten rid of that, and so what had been happening was people were just getting a 55 Death Knight, hopping into PvP servers, uh, and targeting other players. Like if anybody here has ever played, the shit your pants effect of when a 55 walks into the Barrens, or like Terran Mill or anything like that on a PvP server, somewhere where PvP is allowed and open, and so a lot of people
They just start raping everyone.
they absolutely just started just destroying everybody. And when we say botters, like these are people with no skill. These are people that haven't played before. These are people that didn't have to go through the due diligence of actually leveling your character. That was another big piece of it. Was you could just hop in and you could just get a 55. You're not grinding from level 1. You're not spending 2.5 weeks in Stranglethorn Vale. You're not suffering the drop rates. You're not doing anything like that. So they had actually banned 120,000 of those, and then what they did is they had actually rolled back to the original World of Warcraft 2008 requirement of having to have a character at level 55 to create a Death Knight. Now, this has also made some users pretty upset. A lot of people are saying too little, too late, but a lot of people are also talking about the fact that you can buy a level boost. You can buy an instant 70 in here. If you buy an instant 70, you have a 70. That meets the level 55 character requirement. Now you get your Death Knight. So when I was looking a little bit further
Pay
into
us and we'll allow you to rape characters in the Barrens. Pay us extra.
You
There
pay
you
us and we'll allow it.
That doesn't
Absolutely.
seem ethically right,
So,
but you know.
So basically, like I said, it was a lot. A lot of people are just too little, too late. If you actually get in the Reddit, the R Classic WoW thread, there was a user Firestar3689 says now botters have to buy a subscription and a character boost. Huge profits for Blizzard.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100% huge profits for Blizzard. Hey, we don't like you guys doing this, but if you give us $25,
Yeah, that's like
Then we'll let
bribing
you do
somebody
it.
to do
you
something.
can do this shit as much as you want, as long as
Yep.
you give us X amount of dollars. And then looks like there's another user, Tippy Tap, basically just saying this ruined a large portion of the game for months. And what took so long? I mean, at some point there must have been some sort of daily active users drop where Blizzard was scared to not make any more money, so they finally decided to do something about it.
They're going to make up the revenue by
And now they're
getting
going to make up the
level boosts.
revenue by selling the level boost to the botters. But yeah, that's what's been
and
going
so
on over at Blizzard.
what a shit
WoW.
Another thing. And
It's
not only
shitty.
just PvP is a problem. The thing is, it's crashing the in-game market as well, because if you just can create a level 55 character, you're already in that end-game content, so you're able to, without that initial investment, just make a character that can go farm the max resources. So instead of being able to like, oh, you got to work a character up to that point where their skills can actually impact the economy,
Yeah.
you don't have to do that.
It was
now. You actually
plummeting.
just have, yeah.
It was plummeting the economies. You
So-
automatically come
so-
in with jewel crafting or mining or leatherworking and mining, just only
Max.
ones only designed to make money.
Yeah.
And sell, and you were just destroying economies for entire
And they're botting. That's the key. These are
Yes.
bots. So like we've all seen, if you've played WoW, you've seen the druid bot chain. 7 druids all flying in together, or 5 druids all, following mapping the inputs of the person in front of them. Come down, drop in front of a plant, all 5 grab it, they fly off.
they leave.
That's
It's-
crazy.
Yep.
It's so like you pentatimes your resource gathering just by botting. So botting has always been a problem in online MMOs, but WoW had made it easier for them.
Yeah, it was they streamlined that process. If anybody's ever heard of Lean Six Sigma, that is what they did for botters in World of Warcraft.
There you go. So moving on to our next topic, Atari was in the news, which is we don't hear from them too often.
Weird, yeah. So Atari decided that they were gonna jump into the market for gaming, but the 1980s they decided Atari decided to acquire some classic arcade machine games including games like Berserk, Frenzy, and 10 other classic arcade properties, just because they wanted to buy the licenses to them, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to rebuild a collection, a blast from the past, maybe. But an interesting see for Atari. They haven't been in the news for quite some time. The fact that they still exist is crazy to me. I didn't even realize Atari still existed.
Yeah, yeah. They actually own a lot of properties. Like, I think they own like a bunch of different games like franchises, if I'm not mistaken. But it's
Hmm.
definitely been a while for sure. But is Atari returning? Because I mean, think about it back in the day, like they're like the OG's game console. Like that was my first game console I ever owned was an Atari. So it's just like it'd be pretty cool to see their take on the modern console. Maybe they can reinvent those classic games like Breakout or even like a newer Pac-Man, make it a three
Well,
day
and the
Pac-Man.
thing is, Atari said that they seek to expand digital and physical distribution of these classic titles, in addition to creating new games based off of these IPs,
Yeah.
which
I
is
can't
nuts
wait.
to me. This is nuts. Like you're looking at stick figure games with no story, and they're like, this needs to be plot driven now.
Yeah. I mean, why not,
Okay.
right? I'm
Yeah.
open for that idea.
I can't wait for a plot-driven Qbert. It's gonna be so nice.
Driven Cubert. Yo,
Just the
Cubert.
storytelling for
The
Qbert.
return
is
of
gonna be
Cubert.
But I don't know. It makes me hopeful. I mean, this is like you were saying. This is the OG of games. If you're not counting the Commodore 64, sorry.
Yeah.
Um. So this is the game maker. This is the one who made it possible for us to play what we're playing now.
They made
Like
the
play what-
joystick.
What
They are the joystick. That's
They
where
made-
we get the joystick to this day
everything
is the
is
Atari.
possible. It's still the Atari. Everything that they've done has made all of this possible, and
Mhm.
I am really really interested to see what they're gonna try to do to. They don't even have to remain relevant, but to come back and get some of that again, and see what they're doing with it. I can't wait for Atari to come in here and just bust this shit up. I don't
It
know.
honestly would be really fascinating to see these classic arcade machines just be preserved for posterity's sake. And not only that, maybe something good will come from it, because honestly, I haven't seen anything good from Atari in a long time, but like they were the OG, as you
I mean,
said.
we cannot forget they own roller coaster tycoon. So I mean, they can.
Where is Roller Coaster Tycoon? We have not seen it.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
long. The return of Roller Coaster Tycoon would be perfect. Like it's all
Absolutely,
about
Roller
those
Coaster
simulation games again. Like
Yes.
that's huge right now. And Roger,
I
I
think it's
remember
gonna
coming
be-
over to your house or your pap's house, and we used to play Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 or 3, and we're just out there just creating the craziest fucking roller coasters and the wildest parks ever. And it was just
So
so
Real
good.
fun.
fact, too scary. Love it. I can't wait. I mean, come on. Here we- but so speaking of, we haven't seen. It's been decades. So what are we thinking for like when they do finally come back, and all of the gamers who came before us, who just don't play this stuff anymore because it's not nice and easy and simple.
Yeah.
And then here comes Atari, whipping right back around, bringing those games back, and now more people get into the game market and more money flowing in.
Yeah.
I mean, but I will say the conspiracy theorist in me, I'm terrified that Atari's coming back because everything's been remakes lately. So I live in constant fear that we have already reached the pinnacle, and we can't go above this. And
We've
so
hit the
now
ceiling of video
we've
games.
hit it.
Yeah.
We've hit the
Other than
ceiling.
when we're actually in the video game.
Video games, cinema, everything. It's terrifying. It's another piece of evidence.
For
Just made
sure.
me
Well,
not
there's also
tonight.
something other news here that's quite terrifying here. What's going on with Epic Games here, Scott?
So the opposite of terrifying, this is gratifying, is Epic Games was ordered to pay $245 million cash money in refunds to Fortnite players who were tricked into quote-unquote unwanted charges. So this stems from the ongoing controversy they've had for the microtransactions, where you buy a loot box and you could get this, and it was advertised that you would get this, but that thing really only had like a 0.04% drop rate, and you had 10-year-olds with their parents' credit cards unbeknownst to their parents, or they had saved cards and things like that, and they were just charging and charging and charging, and Epic didn't care because they were just bringing it in.
Right.
There was no checks or balances to make sure that
They
people
didn't
weren't
care.
just getting charged, and they didn't care because they made that dirty Epic Games money.
They were
Yeah,
printing money.
absolutely. They were literally printing money to themselves.
Right.
I mean, good on them, I guess. But I mean, does it seem predatory? Not if it's just out of negligence, I
Yeah, it
guess.
is. Yeah.
But oh no, we totally didn't know that they would do that. We trusted the 10-year-old said Epic Games in their fucking
Dude,
lawsuit.
Like it's like cigarettes. They get kids hooked, and they're like, oh, we're not advertising to kids, but like Joe Camel was advertising to kids. That's
Right.
what Fortnite's doing. They're just like,
Still the
look
coolest
what
guy I
you
know.
can
Man,
get.
cigarettes were
Five Nights at
heavily
Man.
targeting kids. Think about it. We
That's-
used to have them candy cigarettes back
Candy
in the
cigarettes.
day. Right.
But yeah,
that was
this is what
obvious.
Fortnite's capitalizing on.
Still eat them every
Yeah.
once in a while. Nothing hits after a hard day's work like a fucking pack of candy cigarettes, man. Whew. God.
Oh,
Dude,
man.
But dude, I'm,
Yeah.
I'm so happy that they had to pay that money. And once again, and we had talked about this before, this is a drop in the bucket to them.
Mhm.
But you know what? That was a necessary drop because the entire microtransaction I don't want to say
Enterprise.
yes, enterprise.
Conglomerate.
Yes, absolutely. It was it was shit. It was dog shit. I'm just gonna say it straight now. And like we said, that was predatory through negligence. So we didn't know that the kids would do this. Did the fuck you didn't? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can hear your eyes roll because it's that hard. And finally, somebody gets to pay for that a little bit because
Yeah.
microtransactions are bullshit. Microtransactions were ruining the gaming industry,
Yeah.
and they were ruining games. And
I'm
I'm
glad we're
happy
starting to
to
get
see
a
that somebody
hold on them.
finally got to pay for that a little bit to help set a precedent that hey, you can't just do this shit anymore because A, you're ruining bank accounts and you're ruining games. So good.
For
Yes,
sure.
sir.
Not that I don't love Epic Games. They have great games, but good. You deserve this. You deserve this. You deserve this.
And yeah, Roger, if you want to go ahead and round out our industry news here before our next ad break here.
Yeah, so last but not least, Twitch. The CEO, Emmett Shear, has decided to step down after 16 years. The only reason I really want to talk about this is the fact that Twitch has been around for 16 years? The fuck?
Yeah.
Like, the fact that I didn't even realize that. Like,
Yeah.
Which is
I was
almost old enough to
12 when
vote.
Twitch came out? What the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were in 7th grade when Twitch was out. I was in my prime of Call of Duty. Why the hell was I not on Twitch yet? You know?
Oh my god,
Did
where
you-
was I?
did you
16
dial
years
up?
ago?
I don't know.
Right, yeah.
Jeez.
It was almost impossible to get on Twitch at that time. I mean, trying to get the whole streaming set up. It was,
Like, I
wasn't as
literally
easy as
had
it's now.
dial-up only a few years before that. Like, what the fuck? Like, live streaming your video games?
Yeah,
Man,
it's impressive to see where we came from. But this is
I'm old as
honestly good
shit.
news. Good news to see that he's finally stepping down, honestly, because Twitch has been making a lot of questionable decisions. Whether that's coming from him as the CEO, or if it's really coming from higher than him from Amazon, because we can't forget Amazon does own Twitch.
Own Twitch.
So that's really important to keep here. But Emmett said he wanted to step down to spend more time with his family. I know he recently had a daughter, whether it was this year or last year. So obviously you got that new family. Instead of you're running Twitch, man. Like you're busy as hell. You're probably traveling around, making partnerships, talking to all the content creators. the influencers.
You are the number one live stream platform.
Right. So,
Like, don't get me wrong. YouTube, Facebook, none of them have what Twitch has. And that is the biggest viewer base.
yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And at some point you get to a spot, and this is even down to like our level. When you're in a leadership position, you build it, and you set it, and you lay enough groundwork and enough foundation that once you are gone, like the point is never to keep you there indefinitely. The point is to be able to do exactly what he's doing. New kid wants to go and spend time with his family. I mean, I think Twitch is gonna be just fine.
Yeah.
Seems like we're doing okay right now. If everyone can hear me clearly.
Still live?
Just doing a
We're
double
still
check.
live.
Still live.
We're still live. We're still live. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, and that's what you do. That's what you do as a CEO. That's what you do as somebody, especially in that big of a position. You set it up so it's meant to go to the next person. You set it up. You have an heir apparent. You have somebody who you think is going to take the mantle, and then you can go fuck off and live the rest of your life and
Right.
just
Yeah.
do
Well,
like
dude,
do
the
like
dude
Al
had
Rickson did.
fuck
You
off
just sit on
money,
the
like-
beach. Yeah,
like-
you just sit on the beach and you collect 20%. Like that's what happens. But yeah, no, it's amazing, and Disney's saying he's happy for him. Like it is a big decision to make, to step away from something that you've created for so long,
Yeah.
and to be able to sit away, know it's in good hands, know it's gonna stay, and basically, I mean, Twitch is his 16-year-old baby at this point, so he might be taking the break to spend some time with his human baby. Sure,
And
but
and to put it in perspective too, Emmett's
yeah,
he's 40 years old, so he started this when he was what 24 years old, like
yeah.
a couple years younger than us here, and now he's able to basically retire at 40 years old. That's something that most people can't say they can do.
Yeah, absolutely, and Disney kind of hit the nail on the head there with here, especially here, the work life balance culture is so fucking bass
Yeah.
backwards. She's saying is here it's you either got your family or you got your work.
Yep.
He did his work. I mean, once again, maybe this idea of him doing it after 16 years and then finally being able to go hang out with his family still isn't very non-toxic, as it were, but he gets to do that now. So good on him. I mean, congrats, and we'll see what Twitch has to offer after this.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is we talk about the whole like work life balance, and I shared this 2 days ago on Facebook. Someone made this post and it says we need to stop glamorizing overworking. The absence of sleep, good diet, exercise, relaxation, and time with friends and family isn't something to be applauded. Too many people wear their burnout as a badge of honor, and it needs to
Yeah,
change. And that's the issue that we live here in America, because I
yeah.
advocate for this every single day at work. My life does not revolve around this workplace. You revolve around my life. So if I need days off, you're not going to scrutinize me for having I need days off, for whether it's for
Hmm.
vacation or sick time or appointments or vacate, whatever it is. It's my life. I don't have to be here. I can go find another job. It's as simple as that. And I'm glad that our country is actually trying to push for that bill that's in the system right now.
The 4 day
4 day
work
work
week.
week. Thank you. 32 hours a week is exactly what we need.
Well, and it's
So
not
yeah,
just calling out a 32-hour work week. It's saying, a 4 day work week could also just be four tens.
It could be, yeah. But I know the bill
And
that they're
it's
trying to
just as
push is
fine.
for 4 days, 32 hours is the idea. So it
yeah,
prevents
and
the burnout.
so I don't. So on the federal side of the house, they have taken a lot of that into account prior to this. I
Well,
mean,
they
people
also
people
want a
have the
4 day
option
work
for
week.
14.
Fuck
Who
yeah.
doesn't want a 4 day work week? We don't want to
Yeah.
work 4 days,
Yeah.
let alone five.
CEOs work 4 day work weeks. Get the fuck out of here. They
No,
don't work.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, and it. I've watched people under me, next to me, and above me have that 4 day work week, and it's really worked out
Angering.
well for a lot of people. Um, so, but a lot of people also don't choose that. So I think it's the freedom
The
of the
ability to
work-life
choose for
balance
yourself. You know what?
that
Four
you
tens,
still get your
five
time, you
five
still
eights.
do your job. Exactly, still get your time, still do your job. Emmett over here decided to do 16 years on, and now he's going to do 16 years off.
I mean, the
So
rest
good
of
for
the years
him.
off, maybe. That guy
All
got Amazon money.
all
Right.
of the years off. Yeah, he got that. He got them Bezos bucks. He's all right. He's gonna be doing A-OK.
All right. Well, with that, let's head into our next ad break here, Mr. Never Chillin', if you're able to start us up.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And it should be good.
All right. So
I'm gonna grab
next
another
up,
beer real
let's
quick.
talk about The Last of Us here. So The Last of Us TV show just came out here,
Rico
and
just dipped.
honestly, it just both of them dipped. So I'll talk about it. I
I got
think,
another
well,
potty break, man. It's been water all day for me.
yeah. So honestly, for our subscribers here, The Last of Us TV show is one of the most fascinating things to me. It's just like this is how we do a TV show right. This is how we finally decide to get something quality from the content we already have without ruining an IP. Like, look, we have so many over the years movies based off of video games or other content, and it's like the source material is always ruined, it feels. But The Last of Us TV show took the source material, followed it, and then expanded it without ruining it. What do you think, Vic?
About the Last of Us.
Just the idea that a show can actually expand upon the content without ruining it for once.
Right, yeah. I love the idea that Last of Us is doing everything correctly. I just to put up front, I've never played the games. I have not watched this TV show. Obviously, I follow the news, so I see it in the gaming news every day. And it's been doing really well. They kind of stick they basically one for one to the game, but they've added some extra content to build that lore, build that story, make those deeper connections, and it's great because we all know what happened with Halo. You didn't stick to the script. You didn't do anything to build the lore because we know that this is a separate universe. So it's like you're not really doing anything for me as a consumer. You're really just wasting my time. But to see
Yeah.
that them doing it really well here is awesome, and I'm really
And
eager to see how they do it translated to the other PlayStation titles like God of War. We know that that TV show's in
yeah.
the works. That's going to be
And
crucial
one
to
of the
see if
things
that
that's
plays out the
most
same.
important to me, honestly, and I just want to take 15 seconds real quick, talk about how, for me, episode 3 of The Last of Us TV show, if you haven't seen it, is all new content. It's made specifically to explain characters that we once saw or once had around. And the fact that these characters are just we got more information, in the game. You walk up, you find these characters dead, and you're like, oh, these are characters. You don't really get much information about them, but the show just made them feel like people, and it was awesome. But
It
without
was great.
without further ado, though, our ad break did just end, so let's talk about
Oh
gaming news. Sorry, you
man,
took
I
a
was about
body
to say
break,
how
man.
Last of Us just
I
shit
know.
on everybody.
It did.
They proved it wasn't that hard to begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and kick off our gaming news this week with some Fortnite update. Obviously, we just talked about them dealing with the whole issue, paying out $245 million in refunds with Epic Games. But some positive news here is that Unreal Engine 5 editor is coming to Fortnite and it's arriving this week in 3 days here on the 22nd. It's kind of like a game in-game editor like Roblox, only that it's more advanced because like it has like the being 3D in the first place. It works in tandem with the pre-existing Fortnite creative mode that's already in there, and it's providing these creators to build like new game experience, new game modes, new maps. Like people can build anything and everything. Like people have made a one for one recreation of Call of Duty Zombies in the map where you can buy guns off the wall. You got the perk machines. Like we've seen that in Halo Forge recently, and these editors are really awesome to see. But there's tons of content that people can create with this new Fortnite creator. I see people on Twitch all the time making new giveaway, new competitions, kind of like Squid Games in a way, but on online, like people can come together and just compete and have fun, and then this is just awesome for that creativity here. So, Roger, I know
It's
me and you
allowing
used to play a lot
content
in
creators
Forge.
to be content creators
Yeah.
inside their favorite games. So this is enabling games to enable content creators to further market for their games, which is crazy.
hmm And we know how powerful the Unreal Engine 5 is, and now that they're going to have access to basically the full Unreal Engine 5 built around Fortnite is going to be insane because obviously we know everyone has access to Unreal Engine 5 specifically for any
Hmm.
freelancing, but this one is going to be built around specifically with the Fortnite assets already. So it allows you to build whatever you want. So I'm really eager to see how this translates. What kind of content do we see? Like, will this become like one of those like a game within a game kind of scenarios? Can we see that? Because I know PlayStation had that game creator within a game called Dream, where you can literally make whatever the fuck you wanted in a game and have a story mode and have the if this happens then this happens, the cause and effect chain, and how code is written. So I'm really eager to see how that plays out. But enough of Fortnite. Some news in regards to Stalker 2, Heart of the Chernobyl, which is we know that game's upcoming here, but they recently suffered a Russia linked security breach, and basically they're being threatened because they're like, well, you don't support Russia, so we need you to stop taking or making the game, and we're going to leak all your information out, and we're going to put it on the dark web, and we're going to put the source code up for ransom and sale and stuff like that. And it's just it's tough to see that the
If
war.
Russia wasn't already shitty enough,
Right.
they put their fucking gun in their mouth again. They're like, "Don't make me pull it." And it's
Yeah.
like, dude, calm down. You've already fucked up a lot. Just
Yeah.
like, let's
It,
get off the ledge.
it's rough here, man. Like the war was already enough on these developers because they had to move, they had to relocate, just
Yep.
like all the other ones, to be in a much safer environment. But now that they're not even safe digitally, like they're being hacked like that instantly, and like what else is Russia doing? It just makes you wonder here. So we're going to continue to follow this story. Hopefully everything plays out good, and hopefully we can get this game this year. If not, we will see it next year for sure. But Roger, there was some interesting news here in regards to a game called Bleak Faith Forsaken.
So Bleak Faith Forsaken is a new Souls-like game coming out that decided that they were going to take it one step further. They were going to try to steal from the From Software developers. They took their entire animations for many of their weapons and characters directly from Elden Ring and other From Software titles. They decided that instead of building our own animations, we're just going to use yours. And From Software is quite upset about this. And
Yeah.
honestly, a lot of people online, including reporters, are like doing side by sides where they're just like they click the button at the same time and the animation is 1-to-1 and they're just like
Right.
It
What
doesn't
we
get
do?
much more evident than that. Right?
yeah.
I would be pissed too if somebody took my hard work and then just copied it over to their bullshit.
Right.
And they're
And
just
then
like,
just,
look at
"Oh,
us,
look at
we're
this."
great developers.
Look at this new game. Swoop.
I'm
Like, fuck out of here.
I'm personally curious to see if they if Elden or From Software pushes for like a lawsuit of some sorts for like stealing of assets or the copyright infringement or like whatever it is that protects this kind of stuff because
What would that
because
be though?
video
Would that
because
be
video
intellectual
video game
property?
creation is like
Or would that
art
be-
because you know like how art is kind of like protected but like not protected. It's like it's a really weird like one of those like
Art
really
is
gray
protected
areas.
by copyright. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
But it's like
lic-
how
artist's
copyright is
license.
it? So like if they make one minor change, does it become its own individual original work? Then, so like that's gonna be the thing. That's gonna determine
Yeah,
that.
like does it come down to like, oh, finishing moves are copyrighted? Like, what would that really look like in a lawsuit setting?
Right. I mean, it's the
Just
same
all
issue
the
that
jurors have to sit there and watch Mortal Kombat finishers, and they're just like, "Yeah, that looks same to me."
Honestly,
You gotta
you
pay
know
'em.
what? You know what? I've never gotten dinged for jury duty before, but now I kind of hope I do.
yeah for
Yeah,
for
I
a case
Kind
like
of hope
this.
just-
so.
So this is Skullfuck 1 and this is Skullfuck 2. Tell us if they look the same. Yeah, they
They're
look to me.
Is this
yeah,
the
they're
same
the-
game? No.
they're the same. They're the same skullfuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
they're
are
the
asking-
same skull.
Corporate wants us to identify the difference between these two skullfucks. They're literally
They're
the same. skullfuck.
But yeah, just to catch up here in chat, it looks like Laser and Scobie won. Obviously, here on the panel, we're going back and forth about the work week. Yeah, it'll be eager to see whether it's 4/10s or if you're doing 4/8s or something in between there. But the whole idea with the whole 4-day work week or for companies like how is it going to work for companies that are open and working operating 7 days a week? Then you have to have
So-
stagger shifts. Like how's that?
Actually, as a matter of fact, where I work, we cover a 24/7/365 service desk. There are some options for compressed work schedule at different levels here and stuff like that, but that's where it comes down to the management. That's where it comes down to the people that are actually running the show to say, hey, no, we still need coverage. Like, so where I used to work as well, we had 4-day work weeks. I was still on my different compressed schedule, but I was the only one that was like that. Everybody else was on their 4/10s. And it all comes down to, the job you got to do,
Mhm.
right? So if people are working Monday through Thursday, well, guess what? Not everybody can work Monday through Thursday. So
Right.
now people are on Tuesday through Friday.
Yeah.
In a 24/7 environment, you have your first, second, third shift. You have Monday to Thursday. You have Tuesday to Friday. You have Wednesday to Sunday. I mean, it really comes down to what you need, and that's we're getting really into the weeds here when we get down to that, because we could go over, I could pull up an
1,000
Excel
different
spreadsheet
scenarios. Yeah.
and talk about how to
End of the
cover a 24/7 365. But at the end of the day, I think the freedom is nice because a lot of people can operate on different schedules, and that's what
Yeah.
it is, because you find what
Yeah.
works best for you. You find out how to make it work for you while also making it work for the company.
Mhm.
And making sure that you are actually fulfilling what you need to fulfill, and the company is fulfilling what they need to fulfill, and finding that balance. And once you find that, and you get humming along, and you have your battle rhythm, as we refer to it. I mean, if everybody's happy workers, better production. I mean, sky's the limits. That's really kind of it.
And the biggest thing here is at the end of the day, we've seen studies done by large organizations who are like, no, removing 8 hours from the weekly work shift actually gave us more productivity because people weren't burnt out. They weren't looking for ways to waste their hours Monday through Friday. That's the biggest thing.
You're not
People
sitting
look
in.
for ways to inflate their hours. How can I make this 30-minute phone call into an hour? How can I, take this meeting and make it last? How can I write this, this piece of code? How can I just try to really drag it out?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. You're not struggling to figure out what you're gonna do Wednesday at 1 o'clock when you have 3 hours left of your workday, and you're like, well, everything else waits till tomorrow, or I'll push it till tomorrow because I have to stretch this out over 5 days. When somebody
Yeah.
could get it through and be done in 4.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But let's hop back into gaming news here. Thanks for joining us here though, Laser Lord, to talk about, the content we have here on the show.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
So
Scott.
what do we got here?
Legacy.
Your
Oh,
favorite
yeah,
game,
we're-
Scott. Your favorite
Man.
game. The only game on the
Man.
list half the time.
It's 50. I mean, hey, this is big. It's 50% of my games.
It's 50%, quite a lot.
So, but speaking of Elden Ring earlier, in 5 weeks, Hogwarts Legacy surpassed the lifetime sales of Elden Ring in the UK. It's the UK. I mean, that's kind of where that's where the the Harry Potter takes place.
that
That's
is
where
Harry
I mean
Potter.
that's part of it. So that's not surprising. What's surprising is that 5 weeks to beat Elden Ring.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
That's
Lifetime
surprising.
sale.
That is lifetime sales, and this has been out for 5 weeks. That is Elden Ring has a year and a half now
Yep.
in this game.
And I think the biggest thing
man.
we take for granted is IPs.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
IPs sell. So it's the same
It
thing
does.
with Marvel, the Marvel syndrome. If you slap the Marvel logo on it, it's going to go gangbusters with sales.
Absolutely.
Like,
And this is definitely a product of that. I would say it's
favorite
like,
Square Enix Marvel game. It went gangbusters and everyone hated it.
it's IP nepotism.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Like, hey, this came from Harry Potter, and so everyone's gonna eat it.
Right.
I ate it.
But
I
the crazy thing is, Roger, you made a good point in our Discord server, is that this game attracted non-gamers.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that's the
that's
thing.
huge.
Yeah.
I know people who just read the books and they're like, well, we have a console. Let's play it.
exactly. Why not?
I see
yeah,
people
it-
that
it-
I would
yeah.
never.
That too, Laser Lord. That's the other thing. Yes, Elden Ring is a hardcore gamer thing. There's one difficulty, and it's called Elden Ring.
Yeah, it's called fucking
That's
hard.
it. There's your
It's called
difficulty.
fucking hard.
Yeah.
I think Laser is. I didn't find it surprising, but Elden Ring is very hardcore gamer. But Elden Ring, from my experience, was the most promoted from software. And I mean, it's hilarious because it did bring in a lot of people who never played Souls games before, and
It just didn't have the Harry Potter following.
their tears fed us. So I think what made it comparable at this point was just the fact that although Elden Ring is very much for the hardcore gamer, it's for the hardcore gamer now.
Yeah.
When it first came out, I don't think it really was for the hardcore gamer because a lot of people that saw that, they just saw this massively promoted game that
Yeah.
looked fantastic, was from a reputable studio, and a lot of people were like excited for. And so a lot of people who've never played a Souls game bought Elden Ring. They got their ass whooped, but they bought Elden Ring. And then with Harry Potter, this is where the not surprising comes in. I mean, it's Harry Potter's the fucking UK, and Harry Potter is so much more than gamers.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I mean, it's so much more than that. And people that you're casual gamers, it's not expressly difficult. You can do whatever the hell you want in it. I've been doing everything but the damn main quests.
Yeah.
And that brings in an extra amount of people, but yeah, not terribly surprising, especially now a year and a half later because Elden Ring is so fucking hard. But to beat a lifetime sales in 5 weeks is still fucking awesome.
Yeah. And one of the favorite things about this is people are like, okay, there are a lot of annoying things about this game, and some people came through for us here. What happened this week?
Man, so anybody who has played this game knows that some characters are a little bit tougher to deal with than others. So the toughest character to deal with finally got a nerf in the way of a mod. The mod called Silencio Flu Lady, and they've essentially muted Ignatia Wildsmith. Ignatia Wildsmith, if you don't know, or anybody who's lacking on some lore here, is the creator of the Flu Network. The Flu Network is massive in Elden Ring, or not? Wow,
Jesus.
Harry Ring,
Now
Harry
got the
Potter.
crossover.
Sorry, I know, right? We're already getting there. So the Flu Network's massive. It's your means of fast travel. So you really definitely use the hell out of it for the first like 4 hours till you get your broom. I have not used that shit since because
Yeah.
I fly everywhere. But that doesn't keep her from talking up every time you're near her. So every time you're near a Flu Network, anything like that, she just talks to you. She just has random lines, random quips. So a lot of players were getting very, very, very annoyed with her, just always talking up. And not to mention, sometimes she was also interrupting cutscenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks to the modding community out there,
And it's surprising
yeah.
that a modder had to make this change and not the developers.
I mean, somebody
typical.
definitely put their heart and soul into making her as annoying as possible, and they were not going to take that out. But thanks to a Nexus mod users, I believe the name is Tangery. I hope I don't butcher that. But they are the one that made the Silencio Flu Lady Silencer, and that has been one of the most downloaded mods for that game. Along with Thomas the Tank Engine and PS1 Hagrid. So definitely the most useful.
Right.
But still that's right up there, top tier mod.
Right.
That definitely took care of a lot of players' grievances about one thing that just
What,
stuck out as annoying.
What other news is going on here, Scott?
So we're looking at a remake for System Shock, right? Delayed until May for PC, no date for console.
Yeah.
So
I'm
Night
okay
Dive
with that.
Studios, yeah. So yeah, I'm okay with it. So Night Dive Studios, they first launched this Kickstarter campaign back in 2016. They initially set the goal for $900,000, but they've gotten 1.3 million.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious of why the delay, why the no date for console. I mean, what could really be happening there? So more news to come on that, hopefully.
Yeah.
And
At
hopefully
least we have May now.
Yeah.
We got
at
May.
least got a release date.
Yeah.
Release date 7 years later from the release of the Kickstarter. We're at
7
least
years
gonna see
later.
it.
I'm an Elder Scrolls fan, dude. Is it your first time? 7 years. That's
7 years.
That's, yeah, 7
I was
years. That's
there
crazy.
when they
Yeah.
first made the
Yeah.
mountains.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
7 years. That's
It's new.
And what else
So,
is going on here, Scott?
Oh, this one definitely piqued my interest. So, Gen Pop Interactives, if anybody doesn't know who that is. So, there is a Lady Gaga and Beyonce collaborator called Blood Pop. Launched a game studio, which is going to be Gen Pop Interactives, and they're looking for ambitious AAA shooters focusing on music, fashion, and gaming culture.
I'm curious to see what that plays out to be.
I'm curious. I was looking at this, and actually, you know what? I might still have it up. There was quotes for basically saying that in a world of re-releases, they want to make something that's going to be fresh and new. And there's some quotes here. At a time when low risk tolerance among established studios has resulted in predictable re-releases capitalizing on millennial nostalgia. Oh shit. Gen Z is eager for new IP that speaks to them and has a long legacy that defines their generation.
Curious.
So we will see what happens there.
Right.
They definitely hit me in the chest with that millennial nostalgia, but whatever. We'll get past that. Moving on.
So
yeah.
let's move on to Dying Light here. So the developer Techland revealed the teaser image for their next game in the works, and it hints at maybe we'll see parkour again, something that was truly definitely missing from the last game. The parkour just didn't hit like it used to, and maybe this next game will.
Well, the thing is with Dying Light 2, that's what I feel like they focus too much on it. Like, but they haven't
It-
to
it
unlock
just-
the
it
abilities
didn't
that
do
you
it
played
well,
through.
though,
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, like the skill
Like-
tree to unlock new abilities to be able to parkour better was just clunky. Like,
It's
give me those
silly.
abilities. How did I forget how to do this stuff from the first game?
Yeah, definitely. And like that was the craziest softcore parkour. Yeah, Disney. But no, I think honestly we've seen the struggle where the game itself, their whole identity is parkour, and their next game is too. Like they're now making a new game not related to Dying Light. It's going to be a narrative-driven fantasy game. I mean, that's what we already had in
More
Dying
or less,
Light.
yeah.
Yeah, but where are we going with it? more parkour.
Yeah, more parkour. So we'll see.
Yeah. But let's talk about Sega and Atlas here for a moment. These are the developers behind Persona. They have decided to launch a new mobile game, Persona 5 Phantom of the Night. This game looks like Persona 5 built for mobile. It
More or
it
less.
looks and plays like Persona. It's awesome. It honestly could be a full-length feature game for your mobile phone. And it's releasing soon on public test. March 29th. You'll be able to test the game early. That's less than 2 weeks away.
Yeah, be here before we know it. And Persona's riding a high wave right now, especially with the recent releases of 3, 4, and 5 on Xbox for the first time and
Yep.
on Game Pass day one. So it's awesome to see that. Maybe we'll see a Persona 6 here soon. But
No, definitely.
in regards to EA, Need for Speed Unbound is getting its first major content update coming on March 21st. So just here in a couple of days, you're going to see the evolution of Lakeshore Online, which is the game's multiplayer mode. There's going to be new cars that you unlock via in-game challenges, new events that you'll be able to participate in, maybe something that you'll see online as well. There's 40 new daily challenges, along with 30 hot lap activities. This was a game I checked out for the 10-hour trial on EA Play, part of the Game Pass, and it was a fun game. I don't know if I might purchase it, might not. We'll see how that goes. It's just racing games are racing games, and there's so many of them now where it's just like they all kind of do the same thing. Which one do I want to invest the most time in? And that game is called Forza Horizon 5. So I'm going to stick to that one for the most part. But Roger, if you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about Nintendo here,
Yeah.
because I had a really interesting topic here in regards to Nintendo.
Yeah, so we'll jump into the console, publishers here. We've got Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox. First, one of the craziest things out of Nintendo is a developer decided that after the Wii U's product support has ended and the console is now like gone,
Yeah.
they're gonna make a game for it. Okay, releasing just 2 weeks ago, a game called Silver Falls released for the Wii U, and it required you to play with the Wii game controller, the nunchuck, as well as your gamepad for the Wii U. You would use the nunchuck as a flashlight, and the Wii U game controller became a cell phone. So you flipped it sideways and you used it like an app
It's
phone.
fucking lit.
So you explored these dark and scary places on the Wii U, and you were playing with your cell phone on the side.
It's total immersion, baby girl. That's what that is.
That's true
Total
VR.
immersion. That
Or
is
AR.
more immersive.
That is
That is
VR.
more immersive than VR.
That's
Right
crazy
there.
though. For a game like this to be released, 12 years after the launch of the Wii U, like so many years have passed, and they're like, you know what console would really play this game well? The Wii U.
Almost one Twitch CEO later.
Yeah.
And
Later, damn
they're
dude.
putting out.
That's a
Wii
measurement
U
of time now.
But I gotta say, that's brilliant though, because you put all this money into a game, you develop it, you put it out, you put out this game, and you just don't have to provide support.
Right. Not at all.
You
Yeah.
don't have there's absolutely no back end expenditures there.
Yeah.
You put the game out and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
And and the crazy part is, how do you play this game without actually using a cell phone at this point? Like there are
Laser
some
Road
games
sounds
that
like
you
a
have
mess.
to.
It absolutely
Yeah.
sounds like a
It
mess.
sounds like
except
a
for
messy
now.
game, but at the time, I think it would have been, totally groundbreaking. But for them to release it so much later, honestly, this game seems really interesting to me if I still played my Wii U.
Right. And if I'm not mistaken, there was this horror game that you would connect your cell phone number to it, and it would send you messages, and you would have to download this app too, and it would take over your screen, and it would do this crazy shit, and it seemed like your shit was haunted in real life while you were also playing the game. It was a really immersive horror game. I forget the
Yeah.
name of it, but
And-
that's what it reminds me of here.
And what the crazy thing is, it's always horror games that are let's push
Yeah.
the fucking boundary.
Yeah.
Let's go where no man has scared before.
For sure. But Nintendo has some other news here that Scobie dropped in
So-
our Discord this week.
Yeah, so we've always heard of collaborations and pre-order bonuses, and honestly, this was the truly dumbest one I think I've ever heard. In Japan, if you pre-ordered the game, you get a collector's spoon with the series logo on the handle.
Roger, I know you're
A
getting this.
collector spoon. No, I'm not.
No, you don't collect spoons no more. I knew that was your one of your favorite things to do.
No,
growing up.
I got my
Okay,
spoon
first off-
collection put away, my friend.
First off, that was the Lion King spoons collection, so get it right.
Right.
And that was in Kellogg's cereals. No, the only thing I can think of when I see that is my spoon is too big. That's it. My spoon is too big. Like that's it.
Like, what a crazy thing to do, though. Like the fact that they're getting a spoon with the logo on the handle.
Yeah.
Why a spoon?
But I mean, but why not?
Why not a letter opener? Why not something useful? I guess a spoon's useful.
Well,
You could
okay,
eat with
so
it. You
for
could
what
eat your
it's
cereal
worth,
with it. You know?
I mean, I was gonna say for what
Collector's
it's worth,
spoon.
for what it's. I mean, you're not gonna use the collector's spoon.
Why
Come
not a
on now.
knife?
Like, but I mean, I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna eat my honey bunches of oats with,
It would have been cooler to get like a Master Sword letter opener or something.
Right.
Like that would have been cooler. Why a
Show 'em the nose.
spoon?
Well, probably because it's a weapon. Because it's
Yeah.
also a weapon. A
Yeah.
spoon is the only
right,
thing that really can't double as a weapon.
Yeah, true that.
I mean,
You've
if it-
never
if it
played
does-
Knifey Spoony then.
If it does, that's a very creative person, and they should be allowed to do whatever they need to with that spoon. But it's also not giving a weapon to maybe 10-year-olds because they
That's
learned
very
from
true.
Epic about doing shit with
Well,
10-year-olds.
no. They have to be 12. The game is rated T, my friend.
Ooh,
No.
Got him.
yeah, you know what?
Got him.
Oh,
Everybody, we got him.
oh.
Speaking of got 'em, Scott,
What is that, FBI?
Yeah, Scott, if you want to talk about PlayStation, what they got this week.
So
Or
what
coming out.
PlayStation got coming out here? We're looking at the catalog, the PS Plus game catalog for the March 21st. So for extra and premium, you are getting, I believe the actual pronunciation is one metric assload of games. I'm not used to metric, but
We use
But-
SAE.
yeah, we got SAE over here, but we're looking at Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection, right? Tachia, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction, Ghostwire Tokyo, Life is Strange True Colors, Immortals Phoenix Rising, Life is Strange Dose, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, big fan of that one, Street Fighter V, the Champion Edition. You got an Untitled Goose Game.
It's
Interesting.
Untitled Geese Game if you play with friends. If you didn't know,
It's not.
it actually changes the title if you play with friends.
Really love that.
So guess
That's
who's playing Untitled Geese Game with their wife?
Untitled Goose Game. Love it. You got Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. You've got Rage 2. You got Neo: The World's End. The World Ends with You and Haven. And then for those PS Classics players that have premium, you've got Ridge Racer Type 4, PlayStation 1, Ape Academy for the PlayStation Portable.
Yeah,
PS.
that's from the PSP. Yeah.
And then you've got the one that really sticks out to me. We've talked about it before. You know I'm a huge fangirl for it. Siphon Filter.
The
Dark Mirror.
Yeah.
Dark Mirror. So that is what you're looking at for your catalog for March 21st if you are a PlayStation Plus game catalog user.
And honestly, this is what
I'm
we need
getting
to see from
Three
PlayStation.
of them, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. There's 3 of them right there. Like the fact that I wanted to play Ghostwire Tokyo and I didn't buy it. Now I get
Yeah.
it for free. I'm gonna play Untitled Geese Game because I literally was talking about it this week, and now I can sit there and play couch co-op with Disney. And then not
Love
to
it.
mention the fact that this brand new day 1 game,
Chill.
day 1. Here we go, PlayStation. Let's get it the fuck together, boys.
It's only been, man, if I had to watch, I'd be looking at it really condescendingly right now. How many years?
Yeah,
Yeah,
many years.
it's
Yeah.
like they're so far behind, but like to get a day 1 like Tachia, this game looked good. A
Yeah.
lot of people are looking at this real good, and it's day 1, and now I can play it with Disney because she wanted to play it.
Love it.
Yeah, really
Love
excited.
everything
here.
about it. I love that they're doing the day ones and they're
They got
they're
their head
starting
out of
to
their ass.
actually- Yeah, exactly. I wanted to be nice about it, but you know what? It's too late for
It's,
nice
it's
things.
never nice.
They got their
All
heads
right.
out of their asses. They're allowing day one drops, and that's what they needed.
Exactly. So Vic, take us to our last category here before game leaks, rumors, and the closeout.
Right, we gotta save the best for last year. Xbox had a solid release of news here. Starfield did get a restricted rating in Australia due for interactive drug use. Also, some
Fun
strong,
stuff, boys.
strong impact violence and very mild nudity. So we'll see what happens in Starfield. You're gonna be doing some crack cocaine, whatever you're
My
doing on there.
dude, It's naked on the bed,
Yeah.
just like shooting himself up. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, so
Wow.
it sounds crazy. It's like GTA in space is what it sounds like here. But Ghostwire Tokyo, man, it's coming to Game Pass, bro, on April 12th. And also with that, you're getting a Spider's Threads update. It's available free. It adds more to explore in the Haunted Tokyo, including new content improvements with an all-new mode. It tests your skills as you play through new quests in the main game mode. You can capture new souvenirs with the enhanced photo mode, and explore the all-new middle school area, which already sounds creepy as fuck. You're putting me in a scary game in a middle school.
Fucking kids singing to me.
Yeah.
Dude, if kids start singing to me, I'm fucking done.
Whoop.
But you did get
Played
some new
Labyrinthine,
moves.
and they did that.
You're getting a quick dodge and a charge rush attack as well. So be on the lookout for that. It's finally coming to Xbox, guys. It's been a year since the PlayStation had the timed exclusive. Obviously, this was pre-purchase of Bethesda GameWorks, so finally coming to Xbox. I know it's coming on PlayStation Plus, but now you get to choose, Roger. PlayStation Plus, you're gonna play it on that PS5, or you're gonna play it on your PC with the Xbox Game Pass.
And that's the thing. It's crazy because, like, I think PlayStation did a good job here. They actually played well. They could have maybe boosted their PS Plus sales, but for them to just be like, okay, we're gonna sell the physical copy. If you don't want it, you can download the copy, but you pay for a copy. Or if you wait a year, we're gonna put it on our catalog. Have our catalog, and we'll still give it to you on the catalog before you get it on Xbox. They did it. They finally did it. Okay, we're talking about the revolution that we might see from PlayStation.
Yeah.
Are they
awesome.
going to join the competitive scene?
Right.
It's about damn time.
But speaking of competitive, Game Pass is going to have a really solid month in April. And this is just confirmed releases coming to Game Pass. It's not the actual announcements.
Fire.
You're getting Ghostwire Tokyo on the 12th of April, Minecraft Legends April 18th, The Last Case of Benedict Fox, which I'm super fucking excited for, on April 27th, and you can finish off on Homestead Arcana on sometime in April, probably towards the end of it. So that's really exciting. But for those PC users, for anything that you buy on the Microsoft Store or support with Game Pass, they're adding DLSS via NVIDIA support for Diablo 4, which is coming out this summer, Forza Horizon 5, and Redfall, which is coming out in May. Those games are going to look fucking phenomenal now, even better than what they're already going to look. So that's awesome to see. Surprising news here for Minecraft, but not so surprising. You can basically play Minecraft on any device, like even your toaster if you want at this point. It's coming to the Chromebook via the Bedrock edition, so that'll be pretty cool.
This is going to be awesome for schools.
Yeah.
Schools have Chromebooks, and now they can play the Bedrock edition on that Chromebook because they use Minecraft in teaching.
Yeah, for the educational tools that are built into Minecraft, which is awesome.
I mean, they've come a far stretch from back in when I was in high school and we had to illegally install Unreal on school servers and play in the library. But you know what? Hey, they're gonna be able to use it, and it's
do what you gotta do
accessible for them.
And then in regards to Diablo 4, the Activision Blizzard portion that owns Diablo 4 currently says that, hey, we have no plans of bringing this to Game Pass, while Phil Spencer on the other end is like, this is going to be one of the first games that comes to Game Pass as soon as this deal goes through.
He's like, bitch, you thought.
Yeah.
He's like, you fucking thought, man.
My man's sleeping with his mouth open right here.
Man,
Yeah. So that was funny when I saw that in the news, and they were like, okay, it's going to come to Game Pass eventually, so I know I'm not buying this.
On social media with his own company.
Right. Next up for Citizen Sleeper, it's a game currently on Xbox Game Pass. Episode 3, Purge, it brings the DLC arc to a close, but they say the story is far from over. Those who are not familiar with Citizen Sleeper, it is a narrative RPG set on Erlin's Eye, a ruined space station home to a community of interstellar misfits and outcasts desperately trying to build a life. This is a game that I want to get to eventually. It's just not on my immediate playlist, so I'm definitely curious to see there, but it seems like they're going to be supporting this game for a long while, so might be in for a long haul here, guys. But next up, this game was pretty cool when they announced it. It's called Dead Static Drive. Basically, they're calling this Grand Theft Cthulhu. It's a horror survival adventure game. You're on the road, the world begins to fall apart around you, your friendships will make every bit of a difference over order of collapses, and you basically got to fight for your own survival. And this is coming to PC, Xbox, and Game Pass sometime in Q3 of 2024. So that's a game that we have looked forward to next year. But that
looks
is
fun.
Yeah, looks awesome here.
Definitely looks fun.
So I want to go back to a comment that was made by Disney over here, talking about Citizen Sleeper. Foster's home for imaginary friends, but game.
Yeah, more or less.
but game version.
Yeah, pretty much. It looks really good.
Love
It was a game that I was like,
Absolutely.
oh, they're adding this to Game Pass. That's awesome because I heard a lot of good things about it. So definitely check that out as soon as possible. But hey, guys, that's all of our gaming news. But we do got a couple leaks and rumors here that I want both of you guys to start here. Scott, what's going on with Nintendo here? Because I know you threw this in
Man,
there.
I hope this is true. So it looks like there might be some classic Soul Calibur games getting remastered.
Oh boy.
And I mean that excite. We've been talking about fighting games for how long? This has been the
It's
year.
the
for
Renaissance.
fighting.
Yeah, it's the Renaissance.
Why would this would be the perfect time? This would be just an excellent time for I want to say lesser known compared to like Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. I mean, it's not one of your big three, but like Soul Calibur coming back and making a remaster of its games. Man, Soul Calibur was so damn fun. It was so fucking fun, and I hope that this is true. And I hope they don't do the exclusives like they did. I mean, they're probably gonna, because you had you had Link for Nintendo, you had Darth Vader for Xbox, and then you had what was his name? What was from Tekken? Hikashi was the name.
I don't remember.
Man,
It's been a while.
Yeah. it's
See
been
now,
a little bit.
now I'm gonna have to. What was it? The PlayStation exclusive. I'm doing a full
It is Yoshimitsu.
Yoshimitsu. Oh yeah. Wow, that's terrible. See how long it's been? We need a remake.
Right.
That's how long
Honestly,
it's been.
And the thing for me is like a remake of Soul Calibur. Like a lot of the fighting games are just the same thing over and over again from year to year. So what value do we get out of a remake of Soul Calibur? You know what
I'll tell
are
you
we
what it is.
getting?
Graphics,
I'll no,
characters that
But, like,
didn't.
I'll tell you.
What I-
I'll tell you the reason behind it. Which Roger, we talk about it all the time. Is they're testing the waters to see if that
Yeah.
hype is still there around that specific IP, that Soul Calibur's IP.
Yeah.
Oh, you really like seeing Soul Calibur's 2 remaster? Well, here's Soul Calibur 7 or whatever fucking number would be a brand new one. You know
I
what I
tell
mean?
you right now that to my knowledge, 33.333% of this podcast right now is fucking hype for a Soul Calibur remake.
That's quite a nice number there, actually.
It's
Yeah.
a pretty
Oddly
well rounded number.
specific, weirdly enough.
It's
Yeah.
33.33 repeating, of course,
Yeah.
percent.
Yeah. So we'll see
Excite
how
by
that-
exactly Disney. I
But
am excited by
There's something that I'm really excited here for though is the last leak and rumor here because
Yeah, so
This could be
we
interesting.
talked about the fact that we have CS:GO 2 coming out. So Counter-Strike Global Offensive is getting a new game. Hopefully this summer, we're going to be able to see jumping into the new engine. And with this, we know that Valve uses the same engine for all their games. Well, somebody was taking apart the new engine for CS:GO and looking at some of the files, and in it they found like references to a possible Left 4 Dead game. Left 4 Dead 3 may be a thing. It was in the code for the Valve engine. So maybe we're going to see a Left 4 Dead 3. Bloodborne maybe stoke the fires for Valve to just
you mean Black for Blood.
Back for Blood, yeah. Back for Blood stoked the fires for what could be possibly just the biggest Valve payday in recent years.
No, I
It's gonna be
definitely
massive
agree.
if that drops. It's
Because
gonna be huge if that drops.
Honestly, we've seen the flop of Dying Light 2. We know Dead Island 2 is right around the corner. That one's going to be a day late and a dollar short. It's been in development for 37 years. That depending on how well that game is going to be successful or not successful here, is I think could play a part into if they want to push that for Left 4 Dead 3 because we're in that kind of
Yeah.
thing like we have a lot of zombie games. Do we need another one?
Yeah, where are we with zombie games is the true question.
think-
Like tell me right now, off the top of your head, what zombie game have you played recently that was amazing?
Left 4 Dead 2.
Wow, that's not a recent game though. That's
Right.
the thing. Like you have to
But
go
if you
so
keep
far
playing it, it's
back.
recent.
Dying Light 1. Yeah,
Yeah.
or Last of Us. If anybody played that, that'd be a good one there.
And it's not new. It's a remake. That's the
Last
crazy
of Us,
thing.
Last of Us
We
2.
have to
There
keep
you go.
getting remakes.
Or Last of Us 2. Last of Us
Dead
2 is
Space.
newer.
Dead Space.
Yeah, Dead
is
Space was
literally
fun.
the game I was expecting you to say, and it's a remake.
Yeah.
We're sitting in the remakes of zombie games.
It's
There
because it
hasn't
was
been
so
a
damn
good
good, you
one
don't-
in a while.
Resident Evil
maybe
4.
this,
Another.
maybe this will be the good one.
Remake.
Maybe this will be the good one that you're hoping for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And technically, Resident Evil 4 wasn't really zombies. That was kind of like a parasite sort of deal, a little
They're
bit.
still zombies. Well, then
Yeah,
is Last of Us 2 zombies because they're a fungus, not a parasite, but they're still.
So
Yeah.
technically, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they also made it a point to say no. They also made it a point to not say zombies
Right.
Yeah.
in the show. They're cordyceps, which, by the way, you can buy for $16.99 at Wegmans. For anybody who watches my Snapchats,
Yeah.
you can
Right.
see that
So-
for $16.99. You too can buy cordyceps.
So that's all of our leaks and rumors and basically everything we had to talk about this week. So we definitely want to thank everyone who did check us out live today on Twitch and everyone who does check us out later on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But Roger, where can the audience find you at?
Hey, you can find me at twitch.tv/lunatic_oblivion. I also have a Twitter. I don't use it very often,
Not
but
yet.
it's lunatic oblivion without an underscore. But make sure you do subscribe to our channel here if you want to join us for our ad breaks.
Yes, sir. And where can everyone find you at, Scott?
So you can always find me on Facebook, Scott Roby. You can find me on Discord. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitch with everything with the same name, Scobie Wan. And if you too would like to watch live potty breaks from Scobie Wan, make sure you subscribe.
And of course, everyone, check me over at Twitter at MrNeverChillin_. Xbox is XNeverSpaceChillin. You want to party up, play some Warzone, some Call of Duty, whatever, hit me up on there. Facebook is Vic Brubacher. If you have any questions, concerns, or even if you want to come on the show as a special guest, hit me up there. And of course, I'm streaming over on my Twitch at MrNeverChillin. Right now, I'm finishing up Atomic Heart this week, and hopefully going to be starting either Rage 2 and or might be picking up Hogwarts Legacy, guys. So be on the lookout for that. But until next time, peace.
Peace, guys.
Have a good night.
Press start podcast.